Hello, this is Travis, and this is the Mech 140 Intro to Robotics, Robot Project Number 2 video report, the line tracking robot. And this is our first objective. In this objective, we took our initial design of our square bot that we used for our maze in the last project and altered it so that it would be a line tracking robot. In other words, it would follow a line of white tape on the ground using the line tracking sensors that we put on the front of our square bot and replace the push button. And the Arduino code for this, in the IDE sketch, you can see here I've included the VEX LCD library. I've also included the servo library. I've declared that the servo is DC motor number 1 and DC motor 2. I've declared the integers line L is equal to 0, line C is equal to 1, and line R is equal to 2. That is our analog sensors, our light sensors. I establish a threshold of 600, and I've established the line bot as a integer. The threshold of 600 is a numerical value that the line tracker sensors will read. Anything less than 600 will be read as white. In the void setup, I've included a DC motor 1 attached to 10, DC motor attached to 11. In the void loop, I have all three lines as analog read pin 0, 1, and 2. I have an if statement. If line C or the center sensor reads less than the threshold, both DC motors will go 110, which is forward. The LCD will display L less than 600 R, meaning that center reads less than 600. I have an else if statement saying that if line L is less than the threshold, DC motor 1 will be 110 and DC motor 2 will be 80. One will be going forward, the other going backwards to basically center the center sensor so that the robot can continue forward. I have also included another else if statement with the reverse. If the other sensor reads it, it will correct itself. And here's the robot in action. There you go, LCR, reading less than 600, moving forward. The left sensor reads white, so the motors will correct themselves, so the center will read white and tell the motors to go forward. And same with the right sensor. There you go, the LCD is reading less than 600, depending on which sensor is reading the white line on the ground. As you can see, this one's a little slower, but it does successfully make it all the way around. Reading the white line, it stays within the line. And there you go. And in objective number 2, we're doing the same thing as objective number 1, only this time I've redesigned the robot so that you can see the LCD a little bit more clearly. Made it a little bit easier to wire up. Basically, it's going to run the course, but wherever there's a cross and all three sensors see white, the LCD will display a count of which cross it's at. Once it gets to the 5th count, the motor should stop, ending the program. In the IDE sketch, you can see I still have the threshold of 600, and all of my lines are declared, all the sensors are declared. And this time in the void loop, I've added a while loop. The while loop says if square bot is less than 5, as you see I have the square bot declared as a variable, and if the square bot is less than 5, the while loop will continue. We'll jump into the while loop until it reads more than 5. I have the if statement. If line L and line C and line R are all below the threshold of 600, meaning they all see white, then the square bot will it will count 1 and will add 1 to the counter. The LCD's display will display the current count on line 1 and 12, and there you go. The square box value will be displayed on the LCD, so you know which count it's at. I have else if, basically the same as the last program. If the center line reads less than the threshold, both motors will go forward. If line L reads less, then the motor will turn right. If line R reads less, then the motor will turn left. And down here, once it reads more than 5, I have DC motor right 90. If it reads more than the 5 count, once it gets to that 6 count, it should jump out of the while loop and turn off both motors. Both motors I've set to 90, which is a complete stop in the servo library. And I've included while true. It will basically end the program. It will stay stuck in that while loop. And here you go. Here's the robot in action again. The LCD is a little bit easier to see. You can see here it goes to a count of 1 right away. It sees all 3. This one I made a little bit faster. There's all 3 lines again, reading a 2 on the LCD screen. And there's 3. And 4, and as soon as it gets to the 5th counter, or the 5th cross, it will count 5 and stop the program, or stop the motors. And there you go. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you in class.